Pay attention to Lauren Giddings, 27 years old, walking through the Zaxby's drive-thru at 6:08 in the evening on June 25, 2011. She's ordering dinner, planning to spend the rest of her night studying for the Georgia bar exam. This is the last time anyone will ever see her alive on camera. She has less than 10 hours left to live because Stephen McDaniel, 25, her law school classmate and next-door neighbor, has been watching her every move for 3 years. He's filmed her through her windows. He's broken into her apartment. He's stolen her underwear. He's fantasized about this moment in disturbing detail on his computer for months. Tonight, Lauren thinks she's going home to prepare for her future career as a public defender. Tonight, Stephen has finally decided to stop fantasizing and start acting. This is the story of 72 hours that ended with a viral TV moment that shocked the world and exposed a monster hiding in plain sight. Lauren Teresa Giddings was the first person in her family to attend college. The eldest of 3 sisters from Laurel, Maryland, she'd pushed herself through 3 demanding years at Mercer University Walter F. George School of Law in Macon, Georgia. She'd just graduated 2 weeks earlier with one clear goal. She wanted to become a public defender, the kind of lawyer who stood up for people who couldn't afford anyone else. Her classmate Ashley Mueller would later say Lauren was infectious. You couldn't be around her for more than 5 minutes and not already be having fun. Lauren wore pink constantly, brought her dog Butterbean everywhere, and served as president of the Campus Federalist Society. She ran regularly, attended church faithfully at St. Mary of the Mills Catholic Church back in Maryland, and radiated the kind of warmth that made strangers feel like friends. Her 2 younger sisters, Caitlin and Sarah, looked up to her. Her parents were proud of everything she'd accomplished. At 27 years old, she should have been celebrating her accomplishments and planning her move to Atlanta to start her career. Instead, she was about to become the victim of the man who lived directly next door. Stephen Mark McDaniel seemed ordinary enough. He'd graduated from Mercer Law School in Lauren's class, serving as vice president of the Federalist Society while she was president. They'd been neighbors in Barristers Hall apartments since 2008. He appeared quiet, awkward, socially uncomfortable, but harmless. Nobody suspected what lived beneath that surface. Stephen McDaniel's computer told a different story. Over 14,000 disturbing searches filled his browser history, ways to molest sleeping women, burglar bars specifically matching Lauren's brand, how to break in, how to disarm security systems, obsessive checks of her Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn profiles, sometimes multiple times per day, extensive blog posts on Operator Chan describing in chilling detail how to murder someone, how to dismember a body, how to dispose of remains without getting caught. He wrote about hiding evidence by dumping bodies in trash bins. He wrote about torture and mutilation. He always ended with, "This is all hypothetical, of course." But it wasn't hypothetical.
Stephen was researching. Stephen was planning. Stephen was preparing. Stephen had stolen a master key to every apartment in Barristers Hall. He'd made a duplicate for Lauren's apartment specifically, getting it cut at a local hardware store. He'd entered her home when she was away, touching her things, moving items around, stealing her underwear from her dresser. He'd filmed her through her windows using a camera he'd duct-taped to a long wooden pole, standing outside in the darkness, watching her move around inside her apartment, watching her get ready for bed, watching her live her life. For 3 years, Stephen prepared for this moment. He stole condoms from multiple neighbors' apartments. He researched, he planned, he fantasized. And Lauren never knew she lived next door to a monster. The timeline begins on Thursday, June 23, 2011. Lauren believed someone tried to break into her apartment that night. She told her sister something felt wrong. Things in her apartment seemed moved, rearranged slightly. She couldn't quite put her finger on what was different, but she sensed something wasn't right. She didn't know Stephen had been outside her window again that night, filming her with his pole-mounted camera, watching her through the glass, planning. Lauren felt uncomfortable, but she didn't panic. She thought maybe it was just Macon criminals trying random doors. She never suspected her law school classmate, the quiet guy next door who seemed harmless. Friday night, June 24th, Lauren went out with friends for one last celebration. She danced at a local bar with Ashley Muller and her ex-boyfriend Joe, then stayed at Joe's apartment. Saturday, she spent the afternoon at a country club pool. At 6:08 that evening, security cameras captured her at Zaxby's drive-thru ordering food. This became the last confirmed video of Lauren alive. She returned home to Barristers Hall. At 10:13 that night, she emailed her boyfriend David Vandiver in California, mentioning the attempted break-in and referring to Macon hoodlums. David later told investigators he believed Lauren started the email, but he wasn't sure someone else finished it. The wording seemed wrong. He couldn't shake the feeling something terrible had happened. At 4:30 a.m., Sunday, June 26th, Stephen used his stolen key to enter Lauren's apartment, wearing a mask and gloves. He stood watching her sleep. The bed creaked. Lauren woke up, saw him, and knew immediately she was in danger. "Get the fuck out!" she yelled. Stephen jumped on her. Lauren fought hard, scratching at him, trying desperately to survive. But Stephen strangled her with his bare hands until she stopped breathing, until she stopped moving, until he was certain she was dead. Stephen dragged Lauren's body to the bathroom and returned to his apartment. Monday, June 27th, he returned carrying a Stanley hacksaw. In her bathtub, he dismembered her body, sawing off her head, arms, and legs. He wrapped her torso in trash bags, disposed of her head and limbs in a dumpster behind Mercer Law School, and placed her torso in a green trash bin steps from the building.
For 3 days, nobody noticed Lauren was missing. She'd told everyone she was unplugging to study for the bar exam. By Thursday, June 30th, concern turned to alarm. Ashley Muller and her boyfriend used a spare key to enter Lauren's apartment. Everything looked normal. Her laptop, ID, purse, keys, all there. But Lauren was gone. They called police. Crime scene investigator Steve Gatlin searched the apartment and found nothing suspicious. Walking back to his vehicle, he smelled something foul. He followed the odor to a green trash bin steps from the building. Inside were 2 black trash bags. Inside those bags was Lauren's dismembered torso. News crews descended on Barristers Hall. Stephen approached a WGXA reporter, positioning himself as a concerned neighbor. He described Lauren as nice as can be, very personable. Then the reporter said something that changed everything. They found a body. Stephen's face drained of color. "Body?" he said weakly. His eyes went wide. His composure shattered. "I think I need to sit down," he stammered, walking away. This moment, captured live on television, became one of the most viral true crime videos in internet history. Millions watched Stephen learn his victim's body had been discovered. Stephen voluntarily came to the police station. He allowed officers to walk through his apartment but refused a full search. "It's the lawyer in me," he said. Detectives brought him in for questioning. What followed was one of the strangest interrogations in criminal history. For over 12 hours, Stephen sat almost perfectly still, staring forward, responding only with, "I don't know." Even alone, he remained motionless. This footage later went viral, millions watching time-lapse videos of his eerie catatonic behavior. At 12:18 a.m., detectives noticed fresh scratches on Stephen's stomach. He claimed he cut himself sleeping. Then they asked about condoms. Why did a virgin have condoms? Stephen's story cracked. He admitted breaking into neighbors' apartments, stealing condoms. Police arrested him immediately on burglary charges. The evidence against Stephen became overwhelming. Luminol revealed extensive blood in Lauren's bathtub. Investigators found the master key, the duplicate key for Lauren's door, and hacksaw packaging. They found the hacksaw itself in a laundry closet stained with Lauren's blood. They found Lauren's underwear hidden in Stephen's dresser. Computer evidence revealed his blog posts, 14,000 plus searches, deleted stalking videos, and 30 counts of child sexual exploitation materials. Stephen sat in jail for nearly 3 years awaiting trial. 1 week before trial in April 2014, he accepted a plea deal. He would plead guilty and provide a detailed confession. In exchange, prosecutors took the death penalty off the table. Life in prison with possibility of parole after 30 years. all burglary and child exploitation charges dismissed. In his confession, Stephen described everything: the master key at 4:30 a.m., the mask and gloves, watching Lauren sleep, the bed creaking, Lauren yelling, strangling her, returning with the hacksaw, dismembering her in the bathtub, disposing of the remains. Judge Howard Sims called the crime truly evil. Lauren's friends addressed the court. One said to Stephen, "You are the devil." He showed no emotion, offered no apology. Lauren's head, arms, and legs have never been recovered. Stephen has never revealed their location. Stephen McDaniel is at Hancock State Prison in Georgia. He's filed multiple appeals, all denied. He'll be eligible for parole in 2041 when he turns 56. Lauren's younger sister Caitlin said something haunting in an interview years later. She talked about how there was no safety lesson to be learned from Lauren's death, no warning signs that could have saved her. "There's no story here about telling your kids to lock their car when they get in or don't go to this side of town," Caitlin said. "You know, there's no, she shouldn't have done this and it wouldn't have happened, because you should always be nice to people. You should always be nice to your neighbors. Just because someone looks different doesn't mean they are." But in this case, he just was. Lauren had done everything right. She'd been kind to a classmate who seemed lonely. She'd treated him with respect. She'd never been anything but nice to Stephen McDaniel, and he murdered her for it. Lauren deserved to pass the bar exam and become the public defender she'd worked for. She deserved to help the people who couldn't afford legal representation, the people she'd chosen to dedicate her career to serving. She deserved to move to Atlanta with her boyfriend David, to build the life they'd been planning together. She deserved to see her sister's weddings, meet her nieces and nephews, celebrate holidays with her parents, live the life she'd fought so hard to build. She deserved to grow old. She deserved a future. Instead, she was murdered by the awkward, quiet classmate next door, the one she'd probably smiled at in the hallway, the one she'd been nice to when others ignored him. Today, a pink bench sits in Washington Park in Macon, dedicated to Lauren's memory. A plaque at Mercer Law School preserves her legacy for future law students to see. Her family still grieves every milestone she's missing, every birthday that passes without her, every graduation she should be attending, every moment she should be here for. Her sister said it best. She had this passion for life that a lot of people don't have. I think she lived more in those 27 years than most people do. Lauren Teresa Giddings will be remembered not as a victim, but as the vibrant, kind-hearted woman who made everyone smile, the first in her family to attend college, the law student who dreamed of helping others, the daughter, sister, and friend who lit up every room she entered. And Stephen McDaniel will spend the rest of his life behind bars, exactly where he belongs.